he picked the wrong family, and not scared of a conflict, and we're not scared. We're not running. We're coming at him.
Hey guys, it's Franky. Welcome to the Think Tank. So good morning, Brew, Dandy, and Dari. Yay! So I am waiting for the stream to start. We got about 9 minutes left. So I did put that Discord up there for everybody. I don't know how long these ones last. The links with Discord are really bizarre. They cancel themselves out after a certain amount of time. And so it's something that I try to put in every once in a while just to keep it fresh and everybody's got a link to go to. But usually after a few days on that video, usually the Discord link is that one's canceled. So what do you think today's going to bring? Do you think Leticia's going to be giving everybody the F-bomb? I could not freaking believe that. Like, what the hell? And she's like, oh, no. As she's going like this. Like, to the jury? Are you kidding me, woman? Like, those guys can put you away for a long time. And there she is, like, F-bombing them. The judge even had to say something to her. So we'll see what happens today. And then what was he thinking about over the weekend? Oh, that one juror. They're thinking of, he wanted to, he wants to, the woman who knows that one, what was she, like a forensic something? She knew her through like a church, but didn't really know her well. She had run into her and had to deal with her a couple of times. So the state said, yeah, no big deal, doesn't matter. And then the defense is like, yeah, well, we're not so sure. We wanted her in the beginning anyways, so we still want her gone. And it's like, oh my God. It blows me away what these people do. And then after doing it, they, let me do this. After they do it, they're like, well, we don't want this, and we don't want that, and we don't want this. And it's like, oh my God. How come they're like out there? How come they're out there trying to make all the rules? They're the ones that did this stuff. Oh, and you know what? I got to bring up Brian Kohberger. I do not know if this is, I won't swear that it's the truth, but it's coming out on a few different platforms. And I think it's actually in some of the mainstream media where Brian Kohberger says he identifies as a woman and wants to go to a women's prison. So if anybody sees that paperwork, I'm going to look for it. But that is what is being reported right now, is that Brian Kohberger considers himself as a woman. Well, good morning, Shauna. Good to see you, friend. So what do you guys think of that? Brian Kohberger is identifying as a woman. He doesn't want to be in that jail. He literally wants to go to a women's prison. After he's being accused of unaliving 3 of them. Like, Oh, yeah, that's the thing, Shauna. Like, what the HELL is going on? That's what they're saying. Let me see. I'm going to see if I can find something on that while we're waiting. Give me a minute. Brian Koberger. Brian Koberger. Okay. I'm looking. I'm not looking at any, I'm not finding anything that's screaming at me. So we'll have to wait. But Harsh Reality put it out there. And for some, and I heard it from a few other places, but that's the one that's sticking out on my mind because he's like, what the hell? So I'm not finding it right away. It's not jumping up at me. Oh yeah, Dandy. Like, what the hell? Get down, girls, get down. What the living? Yeah, I mean, he's not even. He's by himself right now. He's not even dealing with the male population yet. And what the actual hell? No, he's such a male mentality. I don't think that is truly him. It's an odd thing. It doesn't fit. Wow. Right? Uh-huh. Identifies as a female. Okay, I'm going to pull this up. And okay, I've got myself a hold of the stream. So now we just have to wait for court. So I swear to God, Jazzy knows when I'm on here talking to you guys. Because again, she's sitting here singing for cookies. Like, what the actual? And if I, no singing. No singing right now. So yeah, this lovely individual totally was giving the finger to the jury. Oh my God. Like, oh my God. And there, I mean, she's been evaluated. She's not insane. She is like, oh.
So let's see. And these do talk about the SC scale, the D scale, the F, the FB, and the FP. So the plan would be to have Dr. Torres release the questions that are associated with those scales and how the defendant completed that.
Did they make her move so the judge can see her?
Her scores don't necessarily align.
Mhm.
They're saying that her scores will align more with people who were coached than with people who were actually diagnosed
Right.
with IND. And because it's kind of a multiple different levels that you could assess yourself at, just to compare, whether, what they are saying versus what her actual score was. And
Okay.
particularly for, for cross-examination.
Okay, prosecution?
Yes, Your Honor, we would continue to object to this raw data being released to the defense attorney. Obviously, this is raw data that is relevant to a psychiatrist or psychologist who may be able to testify as to why it's relevant for whatever purpose it may be. I know the court had ruled previously that the raw data should be exchanged amongst the experts. The experts retained by the defense have received the raw data. They can certainly testify to whatever they would like to about that if they disagree with Dr. Torres or Dr. Gray's opinion as to what the raw data actually says. But there is a privacy concern with regards to this raw data, and quite frankly, that's my position. I would actually request that the court hear from Dr. Torres directly as to what her position is with regards to the raw data.
Okay. Dr. Torres, if you would step forward, please, ma'am. Good morning.
Good morning. In regards to this raw data, I have it here, all of the information associated with the MMPI-2, the 2 times that we administered, we being myself and Dr. Gray, as well as
So it was done twice.
it was also done by Dr. Leach.
Okay, go ahead.
Essentially, we've provided this information to Mr. Tellini's expert. We provided that on February 7th. If the court wants to release the raw test data to Mr. Tellini, that's fine with us. We just ask that a protection order be placed on it to prevent further distribution.
Right, and I've done that before, both as a litigator and as a judge. So I knew that that was going to be a request, and that's a reasonable one.
I don't have a problem with that. The only people that would be reviewing it would be myself, and then I have a social worker.
Okay. Okay.
And obviously, we would want a copy of it as well. If it's going
Yes.
to be released to the
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do, because I've been in a position of, I mean, I've been a litigator with this in this issue, or a trial attorney in this issue with respect to this issue and the raw data, and I can tell you, I think that there is some value to having the raw data if you can figure out the raw data. There's a value to having that and being able to question the expert about it as opposed to just a battle to the expert. So I am going to order the raw data be provided to both sides. I'm going to, since it's going to be provided to both sides, I'm going to require the prosecution to upload it sealed so that nobody has access to it through the electronic filing system. In addition, I'm going to enter the following protective order, and that is that the information is not to be otherwise copied, disseminated, distributed, or given to any other persons not associated with this case or not in the defense counsel's office or the prosecution's office. Both sides will need to take sufficient steps to make sure that it is not disseminated, published, or anything like that. And once the case is done, because you guys are going to upload that in a sealed fashion, and it will be preserved once this case is done, both sides will have to provide back the copies that they've gotten for destruction and certify that they provide us with all the copies that they have. And that should resolve all of the issues regarding dissemination of the raw data. Are there any other concerns that you had about that?
None at this time.
All right, thank you, Dr. Torres.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I have a concern.
Go ahead.
Just based on the history of this case, we've attempted to file other matters sealed. And for whatever reason, someone in the pipeline makes a decision that it shouldn't be sealed, and then somehow it gets released to the public. I'm concerned that that might happen here. And so my preference would be for the court to upload it with instructions saying it's sealed, just as a precautionary measure.
Give it to us, we'll upload it. And
Appreciate
then,
that, Coach. Thanks.
we'll make sure that it's sealed, and it won't be unsealed without court order. And that should take care of that. Okay, thank you, Dr. Torres.
Thank you.
If I may approach, I'll hand you the
Okay.
manila folder that Dr. Torres
Okay,
handed me.
all right.
Am I dismissed, Your Honor?
Let me double check here. Yes, thank you, Dr. Torres.
Talk to you later.
All right. Then, Mr. Allen, I'm going to direct this question to you because you made the comments on Friday. You had indicated that you had received some information, and I thought you said some photographs regarding the defendant's conduct, which potentially could be construed as extending the middle finger or flipping people off, including a witness, perhaps family. Do you have those photographs?
I can get them printed. Basically, it was just screen captures from what was being broadcast on WebEx, which I think the court may also have the same things that I saw.
Do we have that now? Okay, so we will upload some of that so that there is some record of what it was. You may have all noticed that the tables have been slightly reconfigured. They'll be reconfigured again after or at lunchtime, largely because I think that table where it is generally wasted space. So what we're going to do is give you a more narrow one and slide that table over further. I'll move that table then to the back so that you can put stuff on it. You may still be able to use it to some extent, but nobody will be able to sit at it. Ms. Stauch, you have the right and obligation to be present for your trial. Being present permits you to see the evidence the prosecution is presenting against you. It permits you to communicate with your lawyers while that is going on and assist them in your defense. You also have the right for the jury not to see you in restraints that are commonly associated with being held in custody or confinement. That way, the jury does not see you as a prisoner or someone who is in custody and is not prejudiced against you because of that. These rights, however, are not without limitation. While you have the right to be present for your trial, you also have the responsibility to behave with the respect and decorum required for this formal proceeding. You also have the responsibility to behave in such a fashion as to make the use of additional restraints unnecessary. Sometimes during trial, a defendant chooses to act out. The likelihood that that will happen, in my experience, seems to increase the longer the trial takes and the more serious the charges are. And I know that right now we're in week 4, or we finished 4 weeks, we're starting week 5. You aren't the first defendant to act out. Probably not going to be the last. I cannot imagine the pressure a defendant feels during any trial. It's not uncommon for a defendant to disagree with certain testimony or dislike a witness or a victim. Nevertheless, you cannot act disrespectfully in words or actions. First of all, never helps you out. You've already heard one juror submitted a question regarding his observation of your conduct. They don't miss anything. It also makes your attorney's job much harder. They need to focus on the evidence presented and how to counter that rather than your conduct in the courtroom. I am also aware of the practical realities that exist in this case. I could hold you in contempt for your conduct in the courtroom. That would mean that I could impose a sentence of up to 6 months of jail for each incident of conduct which I find to be contemptuous. However, in a case where a defendant is facing decades or even life in prison if convicted, a 6-month contempt sentence does not seem to be much of a deterrent. But that does not leave me without a remedy. We have moved the tables around. You are now sitting in a chair that does not rock or swivel. You will be directly facing the bench and you will be more in my line of sight. I want to caution you against certain actions, such as waving your hands around, trying to stretch your fingers out, and leaving one of them more prominent than the other. Those acts would be, in my opinion, disrespectful to the proceeding. It's disrespectful to the court and the legal process. I also view it as a form of witness intimidation and an attempt to influence presentation of evidence in this case. If that conduct occurs again, it would be a violation of the decorum I expect in this case. Everybody that's sitting in the gallery sees signs that have already warned them of the same kind of conduct. You can't do it either. I may then impose other remedies. I could simply have a bolt installed on the underside of the table and have your hands cuffed to that bolt. You wouldn't be able to use your hands. The jury wouldn't be able to see the handcuffs. It would be uncomfortable. I could have you removed from the courtroom and the trial would proceed without you. You would not be returned to the jail. Instead, you would be held in a holding cell in this building. You know how uncomfortable they are. You would then be transported back to the courtroom at every break to see if you had changed your mind and agreed to behave in a respectful manner a courtroom requires. And you would be brought over for the next day of trial and we would start all over again. So with that, is the prosecution prepared to proceed?
Your Honor, we are, but there are a couple matters that I think we can address before the jury comes in. if it's
Okay,
with the
and
court.
we will start up with, is Ms. Bell back there somewhere?
She's in the hallway, Your Honor.
Okay.
That's actually the first item I wanted to talk about. I
Okay.
did get a chance to talk to Mr. Tolini. There were some areas of her testimony that in my haste I didn't cover. And so
Oh.
rather than recovering her before he starts his cross, I'd like to cover about 5 to 10 minutes at the most from this February 21st search. Mr. Tolini doesn't have an
Okay.
objection to that.
Okay, all right.
The second item is more sensitive, and I would propose that we approach for that, Mr.
Okay.
Tolini and I.
Damn, that was good. Like she caught shit. I figured that was why they moved her. It's just, I just found it kind of odd. But holy shit, can you imagine? Like bolted to the table. Oh God, would you, Mexi? I still have to learn how to do clips. I so do. Maybe when you get some time, we can hang out for a little while and you can kind of show me what to do again. Yeah. I have to say, friends, like Mexi has been awesome. She makes all of my intros. Best researcher I've probably met. So yeah, shout out to my friend Mexi. She's awesome. So stop singing. You just stopped singing. Damn, yeah, he just gave it to her. Oh my God. True story, Mexi. Oh my God. That was wonderful. I think I'm going to pop over here for a second because that was damn funny. Okay. Oh my God. Okay, what was I doing here? No, I know. I don't think I've ever seen a judge go that big. It's like, really? Oh my God. Best thing ever. If anybody ever needed a good telling off, it's that wench. Look what she did in that cop car. Oh my God. That's something else that I'd love to learn how to clip. Like, she smashed that female cop in the face with a full red bull can. She had wiggled out of her frickin' handcuffs. Started this on a highway. Oh, wait. I think they call it a freeway. Busy frickin' road. Oh my God. I want to hear the song of Jazzy's People. Oh my goodness. We'll have big trucks sometimes. We're right kind of like, well, we're on the side of a mountain, and big trucks will go by every once in a while. And oh my God, the house is just like, it goes like nuts. They run around barking. The sugar gliders wake up. They start barking.
All right.
All right.
The first thing that we're going to do is bring in juror number 12.
Juror number 12.
All rise for the juror, please.
Okay.
Thank you. May all be seated.
So
Court
the
will recall 20 CR 1358.
defense wants
People
her
versus
out.
Letecia Stauch. Record should reflect that juror number 12 has returned to the courtroom.
And I don't
Good
understand
morning.
why. Like, it doesn't make sense.
I'm sorry to have brought you down again, but I wanted to think about this over the weekend. I also wanted to talk with the lawyers a little bit. And it was late on Friday when we did that. I know that you were waiting, and I had some other matters I had to deal with, so I just didn't want you to be waiting there. I think that in this circumstance, I am going to excuse you from further service in this case.
What the
The law
fuck?
requires that I do
Sorry.
it in front of the attorneys, the defendant, and in an open court. That's why I didn't call you.
Oh, that's
so
really
I'm
ridiculous.
sorry that you had to come down. I do have a final instruction for you with a caveat. The instruction is that your service in this case is being concluded. You no longer have any further obligation in this case. You may now talk to anyone you wish, including the attorneys and parties about this case. You may tell them as much or as little as you like about the case. Whether you do so or not is entirely up to you. If you decide not to discuss the case, your decision will undoubtedly be respected. However, if an attorney or party persists in discussing the case over your objection or becomes critical of your services as a juror, please report that incident to me. The caveat is, as you know, we've taken some steps to make sure that all the jurors remain anonymous. The only people who know who you are the other jurors, the attorneys, and I. So the caveat is you're prohibited from disclosing to anyone else who the other jurors are.
That
and
makes
that's to
sense.
respect their privacy. But again, at this point in time, you can talk to anybody. Aside from that, you can talk to anybody that you want. You can tell them as much as you like or as little as you like. In addition, Mr. Combs has, do we have that printed off yet? Okay. Mr. Combs has some information for you. If you have questions about that, give us a call. It's a difficult case. I know that those are services that we offer to every juror in every case. I also have a certificate of appreciation for your service. It's not much. It is all that we can offer. It is important, however, because it does serve as a symbol of your service in this case. In addition, El Paso County has a policy whereby if you are called down and serve as a juror, and then you are called in the next 12 months, you can call the jury commissioner and explain that you were on a jury in the past 12 months, and they'll excuse you without you ever having to come down. Remember those questions when I asked when we first started, have you ever been on a jury in the last 12 months? So this certificate has my name on it, the case number for this case, and the date of your service. You give any one of those three things to Commissioner Maestas, she should be able to look up your service and excuse you. So with that, make sure that you have everything out of the jury room. Any notes that you have, you need to give
Probably
to Mr.
the
Combs.
safest way,
they will
but
be immediately destroyed. We're not going to distribute them, do anything with them. They're destroyed immediately. So just make sure that you have everything. And again, thank you for your service. And I know that you might have a feeling that you didn't get to sit all the way through, and you made it this far.
Did you
put
see
this much
when
time and effort into
the
it.
judge
What I
gave
want to tell
it?
you is you did the right thing. That's what this process is all about. So I don't want you to feel bad about that. Okay, you did the right thing. Okay. All rise for the juror, please. Thank you. You may all be seated. So at this point in time, do we need to have Ms. Bell resume her seat on the witness stand? Is that where we're going? Okay. All right. Ms. Bell, I remind you, ma'am, that you're still under oath.
It was so great. Basically because she had met them through her church and had dealt with her somehow in that capacity. And just because she didn't know her, but she had through the church dealt with her and her family. So yeah, they excused her. And it was the defense was like, I don't like this and I don't like her. I want her gone. What I didn't like is they wanted her gone because she was one of the ones they may not have picked before. And now that basically have a chance to get rid of her, they want to take it.
Thank you.
So. Oh, I could rewatch Leticia catching shit from that judge over and over and over. That was like the best. Let's see. I think she'll still do some kind of something. She's got too much of piss and vinegar in her in a bad way. Like she's evil. In my opinion, she's evil. Be interesting to see how she hides behind her hair. And with who? Does the cousin it? Why are we all quiet? Oh,
All rise for the jury. Yep.
that's
there we
why.
go.
So what does that mean exactly? I'd so try. Le Leo Le Cartilla? Le Leo Le Cartilla. Is that even close, Bruja?
Thank you. May all be seated.
Spanish is
Court
beautiful.
will recall 20 CR 1358, People versus Leticia Stauch. Record should reflect the jury has returned to the courtroom. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Again,
Right
we're
back.
going to
I
start
need to
the
get
day
something
with
to
a question.
drink.
Has anything occurred since we were last together that causes any of you to believe you could not continue to act as a fair and impartial juror in this case? If so, please raise your hand. No response. Okay. You might notice that we have one juror less today than we did last Friday. You shouldn't draw any conclusions or anything from that. That juror was no longer able to serve in this case. So it does bring up something I want to talk to you about a little bit. And that is you guys can rearrange. I know that I always feel bad for the people that are sitting down there in the pit. So if you want to, you guys can stay in the same seats that you're in if you want to do that. That's fine. It doesn't matter to me one way or the other. The other thing that you can do if you want to talk about it, you could all move down. That would put you up on the same level with everybody else. And our juror number 20 could move back into that back seat. You would be higher up. It's also up to you. I give you that option. If you want to stay the way that you are, that's okay too. But this way we have a little bit more room to play with. So I'll just leave it at that. When we took our break on Friday, we were in the midst of Ms. Bell's testimony. That's where we will resume today with that. Mr. Young?
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Ms. Bell.
Good morning.
There's a couple questions that I forgot to ask you on Friday, okay? So I want to cover those with you this morning. Is that all right?
Yes.
Back on both searches on January 29th, 2020, as well as February 21st, 2020, did you locate any shell casings in the residence?
No cartridge cases were located during any of my searches.
If you would have found expended cartridge cases, would you have collected those?
Yes, they would have been collected and placed into evidence.
During the course of the February 21st, 2020 search, did you also collect several prescription medication bottles?
I did. I believe it was 5 prescription bottles.
And do you know those? Do you have your report with you?
I do, if I may refer to it.
I figured you might, since you probably didn't know I was going to ask you these questions. And it's bait page 0398. It's 2 of 6 of your February 21st report.
Correct. Yes, I do have that.
What items did you actually collect and submit into evidence?
I will do my best to say these names and not butcher them. But I collected a prescription bottle of Perigo, I believe is how you pronounce this, that was prescribed to Leticia Stauch. I collected a prescription bottle of colchicine that was prescribed to Eugene Stauch. I collected a prescription bottle of lisdexamfetamine that was prescribed to Gannon Stauch. I collected a prescription bottle of amoxicillin prescribed to Harley Hunt, and a prescription bottle of doxycycline, which was indicated it was for a canine.
And did you collect and submit into evidence every prescription bottle you found in the entire residence?
The ones I collected on that day, I don't know that every single prescription bottle was collected and submitted into evidence.
Did you see a prescription for hydrocodone while you were doing this search on February 21st, 2020?
I don't recall offhand without reviewing photographs.
If you would have saw a prescription of that, would you have collected it?
I believe I would have, since the other prescriptions were collected.
Those are my questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
Cross-examination.
Michelle, how are you this morning?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. So refer to me again, how many searches did you do in residence?
Myself personally,
Yes.
I was involved in 3 of them.
And the first, what was the date of the first one?
First one was January 29th.
And to your knowledge, was the resident secure between the time that Gannon went missing and when you did your search?
Secured in what
I mean,
way?
were other members of the family there? Were people coming in and out?
When I arrived on that day, I know at some point that Eugene Stauch returned back to the residence and remained on the upper level while I was working in the basement. And then throughout the other ones, I couldn't say for sure. It's my understanding that they were in and out of the residence.
And so before you got there on the 28th or on the 29th, how many people were in and out of the residence, like say the day prior? Do you have any knowledge of that?
Of family or
Family.
of law enforcement?
Of family, non-law enforcement.
I was made aware that Gannon's biological mother had been in the house the day prior, at least, or the evening prior. And beyond that, I don't know which family members had been in and out of the residence.
Or are there friends showing up to offer aid or anything like that? You're unaware?
That I'm not aware of. I wasn't at the door to see who came to the door.
Okay. And in regards to the carpeting, you had indicated that you've done some kind of testing with the fire department and with fire resistant material being put in the carpet.
Yes, so that was experimentation that was done several years ago. So not on specific carpet from this
Okay.
residence.
And that was my next question. Do you know, was any of this carpet tested to see if it actually is fire resistant?
I'm unaware if any additional testing was done on this carpet.
Okay. Or any testing to see how long you'd have to put a flame to cause the type of fire damage that we saw? That
Correct.
wasn't done?
I didn't do any of that on this carpet, and I don't know that it was done.
Okay. Thank you.
Redirect.
No, thank you.
Do any of the jurors have any questions for Ms. Bell? No? All right. Thank you, ma'am. You may step down.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Prosecution, call your next witness, please.
Or the people would call Harley Hunt to the stand.
Oh my God. Yes. I have been
Ms. Hunt, if you
waiting.
would step forward. and raise your right- Oh, where-
Nice. She went in that
just
vehicle
saw
for that
someone coming through the door.
1,300-mile drive. She was with her mom. Damn. Damn. Oh, and you're welcome, Bruja. Little, medium, small, tall, short. Everyone is just beautiful. It's just like, oh my God. Yeah. I've been to Mexico a few times, never been any further. And it's just, I remember sitting on one of the buses one day, one of the public transit, and I'm looking at everybody and it's like, oh my God, everyone was beautiful. There's this one girl, she must have been about 20, no makeup on, long hair, and outstanding. I'm like, okay, that's where they need to get their models, is like these places. They have all these beautiful people. Okay, so. Oh, the weather. Oh my God. Okay, so Sakalulapa. Did I say that right, Maxie? I mean, I love it when I hear you talk Spanish. It's just like, oh my God, it's beautiful.
I was told he was right out here.
Okay, someone's going by. Oh, hang on, I knew it. Hang on, hang on. I thought she was sleeping. No.
All right, Ms. Hunt, if you would step forward and raise your right hand, please, ma'am.
Yay! Come on, lady. What have you got,
Little
young
further
lady?
forward. It's okay. It's all right. You swear affirm the testimony about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Go ahead and have a seat in the witness stand. Please watch your steps as you step into the stand.
Scared shitless, right? Wow. Mexi, you and I were just talking about her.
Good morning, Ms. Hunt.
Good morning.
Hmm.
Could you please introduce yourself to the jury and spell your last name for the record?
She's crying.
Harley Hunt, Hunt.
Oh my God. Look what you've
Very
done to
difficult
your
for you right
kid.
now.
Oh. You cow. Look what you did to your fucking
We're
kid.
gonna get through this, okay? I'm gonna ask you some questions and we're gonna have a conversation.
Okay.
I want you to do the best you can, all right? Everything we say is being recorded, so if you can.
Hide your face there, Mama Bear,
speak as
you
loud as
dumb
possible. You
bitch.
can also pull that microphone
She
closer to
brings
you
out mean
if you
in
like.
me, Leticia.
Okay?
Okay.
How old are you, Harley?
I'm 20.
And who's your mom?
Letecia Stauch.
Is it the same Letecia Stauch who's seated to my left here in the middle of these two gentlemen?
Yes.
May the record reflect identification of the defendant subject to cross-examination.
The record will so reflect. Go ahead.
Have you lived with your mom your entire life?
Yes.
When was the last time you saw her in person?
The day that she was arrested.
Would that have been March 2nd, 2020?
Yes.
And was that in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina?
Yes.
Do you live out in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina now?
I do.
What do you do out there?
I go to college.
What are you studying?
Nursing.
How much longer do you have for that?
A year and a half.
Pretty excited about that?
Yeah.
Good. Things going well in school?
So far, yes.
Okay. I want to talk to you a little bit about your family. Back in 2015, 2014 timeframe, did your mother marry someone named Albert Stauch?
Yes.
And did Albert have kids of his own?
Yes.
What's his kids' names? Do you remember?
Lena and Gannon.
May I
Oh.
approach, Your Honor?
You may.
I show you what's been.
This poor
introduced today.
kid. Like, what the hell, Leticia?
Recognize that
Like the
person?
ripple
Yes.
effect?
Is that Gannon Stauch?
Yes.
And Lena Stauch is his younger sister?
Yes.
What was your relationship with Gannon Stauch?
We had a good relationship. Of course, we had like a age difference. But I would always try to be there for them when I could.
No.
Do you remember how old you were when Albert and your mom got married?
I think I was 12 or so.
How old was Gannon when that happened? Do you remember?
He was really young, 4 or 5.
And Lena was even younger than that, I would imagine. You remember how old Lena was?
Like 2 maybe or so.
And so did you also have a relationship with Lena?
Yes, I did.
I
Was she
agree.
like a sister to you?
Yes.
And was Gannon like a brother to you?
Yes.
I'd like to see
Although
her
there's
face
an age
closer,
difference,
Leticia's, to see if she's given the
especially probably
kid
when you got
dirty
into your
looks.
Teenage years, right?
Correct.
I would imagine they may have been a little annoying for you a little bit.
Yes.
Is that fair to say? Okay. What about your mom's relationship with Gannon over the years? Can you start out perhaps when Albert and your mom got married?
She's looking
How
away.
was
She
that
looked away.
relationship between Gannon and your mom?
Yeah, so it was different at first because we were like a blended family. So we were just getting used to, more people in our life. They had an okay relationship. There were problems here and there, but
Was there a point in time when Albert and your mom first got married where Albert didn't have custody of the kids?
yes.
And were things a little easier when the kids weren't around?
I wouldn't say easier. Having to go back and forth between, the weekends and everything with them were difficult because, Albert, of course, wanted his kids full time with him. So I just remember there being like a lot of problems with that. But
At some point, did Albert get custody of both Lena and Gannon?
yes,
And were they living with you all more of a full-time basis?
yes,
And did you observe the relationship between everyone at that time?
yes,
Did it seem to be, for lack of a better term, a normal family situation?
Yes.
Um, What about your relationship with Albert? How'd that go?
We had a good relationship. When Albert first came in, it's when my dad passed away. So, that was difficult for me at first because I didn't want like my father to feel replaced. That's how I felt like in my heart. But as time grew, we got closer.
What was your father's name?
Chance.
Hunt?
Yes.
Do you remember when he died?
Yes. When I was 12 in October.
So would that have been October 2000? Help me out with the math here.
12 or 14.
Sometime in that time frame?
Yeah.
When your father passed away, were Albert and your mom married?
Yes.
Do you know how your dad passed away?
Yes.
How did he die?
An overdose.
And when did
Oh
you
my
first learn that?
God.
This past week.
What were you told how he died before?
That someone came in and robbed him and killed him.
And who told you that?
My mom.
Oh, Leticia, you sour
Had
old
she ever
bitch.
told you the truth as to how your dad died?
No.
How'd you learn about that then?
The internet.
Oh,
This case has got an enormous amount of attention on social media and the internet. Is that right?
Yes.
And you have actually gotten a lot of attention on the internet because of this case. Is that right?
Yes.
yeah.
Very difficult you being here right now, testifying in this court.
Yes.
What the hell?
Is Albert Stauch, do you see him in the courtroom?
I do.
Seated in the front row in the gallery here?
Yes.
When Albert and your mom got married, where were you living?
Myrtle Beach.
And how long had you lived there before you moved to another place? Do you remember?
I do not remember the exact time.
In the beginning of Albert's and your mom's marriage, was Albert Stauch going to training a lot, and was he away from the house quite a bit because of his job?
Yes.
And were there often times where it'd be just you and your mom in the house while Albert was out training?
Yes.
Were there other times where it'd be you, your mom, and Lena and Gannon?
Only when he was like at work for training. Yeah.
How did your mom feel about, or do you know, did your mom ever talk to you about how she felt about Albert being gone all the time and being at training?
Yes. She wanted him to be home more, especially when we had the kids with us.
And did she tell you whether or not she liked being at home alone with the kids?
She did not know.
I don't know about
At some
that.
point, did you move to
All
Charleston,
speculation
South Carolina?
coming from this
Yes,
gal.
we did.
Why did you move to
And all of
Charleston,
us.
South Carolina?
For their
Just
job
have to throw
purposes.
that out so I don't
Whose
get
job?
sued.
Both my mom and Albert. My mom wanted to teach at a new school, and Albert was able to find like a job position there too.
And did your mom tell you why she wanted to teach at a new school?
Just to get away from Myrtle Beach.
Did your mom want to move frequently?
Exactly, friend.
Was that pretty constant throughout your relationship with her?
Yes.
I've got my disclaimer.
And
It's
so
on
how
my
long did you live in Charleston?
top right. Instead
Not
of
long,
putting
maybe
my
a year, if that.
And where
emoji
did you
up
go
there,
from
I put
Charleston?
my disclaimer
Back
up
to Myrtle
there.
Beach.
But
And
I
why did you go back to
do
Myrtle
have to
Beach?
remind everybody
Because my
that
mom didn't
everything
like
we
being in
do say in
Charleston.
here is
And
speculation.
did she tell you that?
Yes.
And so were you having to switch schools from Myrtle
Bruja,
Beach
you
to
got
Charleston and
into
then back to Myrtle
Discord
Beach?
okay?
Yes, so I actually went back to school as well when we stayed in Charleston too.
And did you end up graduating from high school early?
I did, yes.
Tell the jury about that. How'd that happen?
What time is it in
I
Puerto Rico,
Eventually,
Bruja?
when we moved to Alaska, I did online school. So I did 2 years of that. So I ended up doing 3 years of high school.
So you graduated essentially from being in Alaska doing online studies?
Yes.
And we're going to get there in a minute, okay? Do you remember how long you lived in Myrtle Beach the second time?
No.
Do you know whether or not your mom and Al Stauch actually bought a house in Myrtle Beach?
Yes.
Tell the jury about that.
Once we moved back, they bought a house there that we had over a course of time, also when we lived in Alaska.
And was that the first home that was purchased between Al and your mom?
Yes, that was purchased.
And at some point, did Albert Stauch get orders to go to Alaska?
Yes.
Were you in the home at that time,
Yes.
the home that you purchased?
Yes.
Tell us, the jury, about that. What were the circumstances? What was the plan for you and your mother and the kids when Albert was sent to Alaska to be stationed there?
Yeah, so he was stationed there. And we still had our house in Myrtle Beach, and we would go back and forth from being in Alaska and Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, this is
And when you
Harley.
say we, who are we talking about?
Me and my mom.
Do you know where the kids were at this point in time?
Poor girl was
Sometimes they would
crying.
be with us in Alaska, and sometimes they would be back in Myrtle Beach with their mom.
And did you know their mother, Landon?
Yes.
Had you met her on occasion?
Yes.
And you see her in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Sitting in the second row back here?
Yes.
Was this in the time frame around 2017, 2018 when Albert was stationed in Alaska?
Yes.
And you said that you would go to Alaska on occasion and go back to Myrtle Beach. And you indicated it was you and your mom, right?
Correct.
How often would you guys go to Alaska?
We would stay in Alaska for like a month or so, and then we fly back to Myrtle Beach for a couple weeks and then fly back to Alaska.
Did you fully ever move to Alaska with your mother?
No.
And why is that?
Because we still had our house in Myrtle Beach, so we would go back and forth.
Did your mom ever talk to you about moving to Alaska?
What do you mean?
Well, did she ever tell you whether or not she liked being in Alaska?
Oh, she did not like being in Alaska, no.
And what did she tell you about that?
Because it was cold and she couldn't work there. And there was nothing to do.
At some point, were you up in Alaska with your mom and discussions were talked about moving to Colorado?
Yes.
Tell the jury about that.
I remember after like 3 or 4 years or so, Albert found out that he could move to Colorado and be stationed there. And we all were excited because it was better than being in Alaska.
Do you know whose idea that was?
My mom's.
And why do you say that?
Because there was an incident that happened in Alaska. I wasn't told much, but
Oh,
Something that didn't want her or Albert to be in Alaska anymore?
Mhm.
You have to say yes or no. I'm sorry.
yes, sorry.
Okay, it's all right. And so talk about the move to Colorado. When this decision was made to go to Colorado, did you still have this house in Myrtle Beach?
We did at first, and then they sold the house. After it was sold, we drove everything to Colorado.
Did you have to fly back to Myrtle Beach and then drive across the country to Colorado?
Yes.
And was it Colorado Springs where you were going to?
Yes.
What was Albert doing as all this was happening? Do you know?
Don't remember.
Was he still in Alaska?
I don't remember. I don't know.
That's fine. Do you remember moving into the house 6627 Mandan Drive here in Colorado Springs?
Yes.
When you moved in, was Albert with you initially?
No.
Well, tell the jury about that. When did Albert come to Colorado Springs to live with you and your mother?
So when we got to Colorado after driving there, the kids came at some point, and then a couple weeks later, Albert came.
And would this have been early 2019
Yes.
timeframe? Now, how long did you live in that house before Gannon's death? Do you remember?
A year. We moved in January 2019.
Was this year timeframe the first time that all of you were together during Albert and your mom's marriage?
Yes.
And first extended time for a year?
Yes.
Had you had an opportunity to see Albert and your mom together on numerous occasions?
Yes.
What was their relationship like? And I'm talking about when you're in Colorado, 2019 on.
It started to feel like we were a family again because everybody was there and like we were together.
Did they ever argue?
Yes.
How often would they argue?
Often.
And how do you know they were arguing?
Because you could hear them arguing.
What would you do when that would happen?
Anna and Arlena would come ask me why they were arguing. So like they would just come my room and I would turn the TV up or something because I didn't want them to have to listen to them argue.
Brutal.
Did you ever get pulled into these arguments?
Yes.
Tell the jury about that.
Major
They would be
wench.
arguing about something and then it would be like, well, isn't this true? Or like ask my opinion, try to get my say-so on it.
And who would ask you your opinion to get your say-so?
My mom.
Did you ever ask your mom, say, why do you pull me into these arguments to get my opinion?
Very true,
Yeah,
Mexie.
just said like, I don't want to be a part of this.
And what did she say in response to that?
But just keep asking and then they keep arguing.
I want to go forward to January of 2020 now. Right?
She seems to be
I wanna
being
go back to
honest.
Christmas of 2019. Did Gannon and Lena, were they with their mom during the holiday period?
Yes, I believe we celebrated Christmas early with them.
Did they go back to South Carolina to be with their mom over the holidays?
Yes.
Did they eventually come back?
Yes.
And would that been now January 2020 when they came back to the house?
Yes.
Now, was your mom working here in Colorado?
Yes.
Where was she working?
At a school.
Do you remember what school?
I don't remember the name of it, no.
Perfect
French
place for
Elementary
a
sound
psychotic
familiar?
little wench to
Yes.
work.
Was that the school
Oh
she was working
my
at?
God.
In January
What?
2020, do you know whether or not Albert and your mom were planning to go on a cruise to celebrate their anniversary?
Yes.
Tell the jury about that.
It was a couple-day cruise that they were planning to go on. That was towards the end of the month.
And
I
did they
would
go
love
on a cruise?
to know if she's
did,
making
yes.
faces at her daughter.
Where did they go on this cruise? Do you know?
I hope
No.
that Harley doesn't look at her mom.
What was going to happen with you and Lena and Gannon while they were gone on the cruise?
She hired a babysitter.
And did you know this babysitter?
No.
Do you know why she hired a babysitter?
No.
And you were how old at the time?
17.
And had you watched the kids before?
Yes.
Had you watched the kids overnight before?
Yes.
How did that, did you ever ask your mom, why are you getting a babysitter? I'm here.
Yeah.
How'd she respond to that?
I don't remember. I just remember being like really upset about it.
Do you remember this babysitter's name?
No,
Had you ever seen her before?
no,
Have you ever seen her after?
no.
Good God.
When they get back from the cruise,
She'll sit
how
there
long
and
were
say
they
that her
gone? Do you
daughter's a
remember?
liar.
I think it was the weekend. Weekend.
So was it a 3-day weekend or a long weekend, or was it just Saturday, Sunday?
I don't remember.
When they come back, how was Albert's and your mom's relationship at that?
It seemed fine. I think his mom came to visit after that too.
When you say his mom, are you talking about Albert's mom?
Albert's mom, yes.
And how long did she stay?
Only a few days.
On January 25th of 2020, did Albert have to go to another training?
Yes.
Tell the jury about that. Do you know where he was going?
I think it was Oklahoma.
And do you know how long he was to be gone?
No.
Was it longer than a couple days?
Yes.
Was it longer than a week?
I don't know.
Okay, not a problem. So, do you remember when he actually left to go on that training?
You mean like the exact day or?
Yeah, if you do, you know.
No. It was like close to the time that his mom came. It was like a couple days after, I think.
Did he leave with his mom when he went to the training?
I don't remember.
Why don't we do it this way? Do you remember January 26th of 2020?
Yes.
And was that the day that you were supposed to go on a hike with your mother, Gannon, and Lena?
Yes.
Did Albert leave the day before?
I don't remember.
Okay. I don't remember, that's fine. Was Albert Stauch there on the day that you were going to go on a hike?
No.
So was he in Oklahoma or on his way to Oklahoma, or do you know?
Yes.
You just don't know when he left.
Right.
Is that fair? All right. So January 26, 2020, that's a Sunday. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Did you recall going to church with your mother and Gannon and Lena? that
No, we did
Sunday?
not.
And is that something you would remember if you did go to church that day?
Yes.
And on January 26, 2020, were you scheduled to go to work that day?
No, I was not scheduled.
Did you go to work that day?
Yes, I got called in.
And tell the jury about that. Where were you working and why did you get called in?
I was working at Massage Envy. And I think they were like short staffed or somebody called out. That's why I got called in.
And was that unusual?
No.
Would other employees get called in kind of last second if someone calls in sick, that kind of thing?
Yes.
And what Massage MB were you working at back in January of 2020?
First in Maine.
Where is that within the city? Do you know?
It's near like shopping complexes. I don't remember exactly where it was or road names or anything.
Is it in the northern part of the city?
Yes.
Off of the Powers Drive over there?
Yes.
Okay. How long would it take you to get to work?
25, 30 minutes.
And you were living on kind of the south side of the city.
Right.
All right. So you go to work that day. So obviously you didn't get to go on the hike. Do you know whether or not your mom and Gannon and Lena went on a hike?
They did.
How do you know that?
She told me and I got sent pictures.
And whose idea was it to go on this hike? Do you remember?
No.
But it was a planned event where you were actually going to go on it as well.
Right.
Did your mom tell you anything about what had happened on the hike, in particular with Gannon while they're out at the hike?
Yes. She said that he had used the bathroom like in his pants, so they had to leave, go home.
And how were you communicating with her?
Through text.
And do you know where they went to go on a hike?
I think it was Garden of the Gods, but I could be wrong. I don't remember.
Your Honor, may I approach a witness?
You may.
I'm going to hand you what's been marked at 2:05. Do you guys, I don't know who's doing. May I approach her?
You may. Go ahead.
I'm going to hand you People's Exhibit 2:05, which is a notebook. Recognize that notebook?
Yes.
You have an opportunity to look at that last night?
Yes.
And do you know what that notebook is?
Yes.
And what is it?
It's text messages between my mom and I.
And are those text messages between January 25th, 2020 at 3:42 PM all the way January 29th, 2020 to 4:27 PM?
Yes.
And does those text messages in that notebook accurately reflect the conversations that you were having with your mom via text messages during that time period?
Yes.
This time we move to admit People's Exhibit 2:05.
Exhibit 205 will be admitted. Go ahead.
Now, in People's Exhibit 2:05, we're going to publish that and go through them, okay, Ms.
Okay.
Hunt? Would that help you kind of establish a timeline as to when conversations are being made?
Yes.
You can go ahead and publish 2:05, please. And Ms. Hunt, you can either look at the notebook
Okay.
or the TV screen, whatever is easier for you. So on the first page, we see a text on January 25th at 9:09 PM. Do you see that?
Yes.
And do you know what that's regarding?
Something about our dogs.
Now, for the jury's benefit, there's a blue bubble and a green bubble up on the screen. Who is the blue bubble reference to?
I am the blue bubble.
So that's coming from your phone.
Yes.
And the green bubble?
My mom.
And this, what we see on the screen behind us is, looks like a picture. See that?
Yes.
What is that picture of, you know?
Of one of our dogs.
And do you know why it says maybe Nicole there on the green bubble?
Do not.
But you know that's your mom's phone number, right?
Yes.
And so do you remember having this conversation with her back on the 25th?
Yes.
Please. The next message says they are saying it may have been his daughters. Do you remember what that was with reference to?
No.
Is this about the same time when Kobe Bryant, the basketball player, died in a helicopter accident?
Yes.
And were you and your mom discussing that prior to you going to work that day?
Yes.
Do you know if that's in reference to perhaps Kobe Bryant's daughters being on the helicopter?
Yes.
And do you remember having that conversation now that I've said those things?
I do.
Okay. If we can scroll down, please. Now, we have a blue bubble that says daughter up at the top. Is that your phone number at the time?
Yes.
So you say, oh no. Is that right?
Yes.
Can you scroll down, please? That was with him? Is that what you say?
Oh no. Yes.
Okay. Can we go ahead and scroll down a little further, please? One up there. Can you go back? I'm sorry. Back right there. All right, so we're now at January 26, 2020 at 5:11 PM. You're where at this time? Do you remember?
I'm at work.
And you know where your mom and the kids are.
On a hike.
So you say, where are you going? Right?
Yes.
Are you there at 5:11 p.m.?
Yes.
And you can look at the TV if it's easier to see it. Okay.
Okay.
She says, get good. Can we scroll down? She says, food. Remember that?
Yes.
And why are you asking her where? Anywhere close to my work, I want chips.
Because I was hungry.
You wanted your mom to bring you some food, right?
Yes.
Do you remember having this conversation with her back then? Go ahead and scroll. Now, here she says, no, LOL, we are going up the street because Gannon pooped his pants. Is that the first time you hear about Gannon pooping his pants?
For that day, yes.
Had that happened before?
Previously, yes.
Did Gannon had some stomach issues?
Yes.
That wasn't too surprising to you when you saw this message?
No.
Was it surprising to your mom?
No.
You say OMG. What does that stand for?
Oh my gosh.
I think everyone knows that, but I hope you understand why I asked that. Okay. Can we go ahead and scroll down, please? So does she, what do you think she means when she says, yeah, all that movie?
Him like exercising or moving around.
Would that in the past cause issues with Gannon's stomach and cause him to have accidents?
To my knowledge, yes.
How did you get that knowledge?
What I was told.
Who told her?
I don't know.
Remember?
I don't know because it was said multiple times, so I don't remember.
No problem. We can go ahead and scroll down, please. Okay, let's stop right there, please. So now we're at the point, it's January 26th at 9:54 p.m. Are you still at work?
Yes.
Remember getting this text message that we see on the screen now that says, do panic, but Gannon turned on a candle downstairs, set the downstairs on fire. I had to get the dogs and Lena out and run back downstairs and jump on him with a cover and put it out. I kept jumping on it.
There's no way
Yes.
that candle caused a fire like this.
What were you doing at Massage Envy? What was your role?
Not
I
even
worked at the
close.
front desk.
So were you able to read these as soon as you got them or with customers or what was going on?
I want to know how
We
that
were
kid got
pretty busy
burnt
often,
arms.
so I was probably reading it in between.
Poor Gannon.
And then she says at 9:54 and 52 seconds, he is fine. He is scared and saying sorry and freaking out. Do you remember getting that?
Yes.
And do you remember how you responded to these text messages from your mom?
Yes. I was reading them pretty quickly because I was at work and I thought she was saying that the fire was on our dogs.
And you know that because the text messages are coming up, or do you remember doing that?
I remember, yeah.
And tell us about your dogs.
Aw.
How many dogs did you have?
We had 2 dogs, a French bulldog and an English bulldog.
And when did you get those dogs? Do you remember?
A little before Christmas.
So shortly before all this happened?
Yes.
So December 2019?
I think it was closer to like November.
And do you currently still have those dogs?
Yes.
What's their names?
Sadie and Chance.
What kind of dog is Sadie?
A French bulldog.
Chance is?
An English bulldog.
And Chance was named after who?
My dad.
Can we go ahead and scroll down? So you say the fire was on Chance.
Yes.
Now, are you saying this because you didn't really get a chance to read the text or what's going on here?
Yes, I didn't really get a chance to read it, and it was just like a lot, and I was so confused what was going on.
Would Gannon have a habit of lighting candles and hanging out in the basement by himself?
No.
You ever seen him light a candle and sit on the couch, hanging out next to a candle?
No.
So eventually, when we scroll down, we'll see that your mom makes it real clear that it was Gannon that was involved in this candle. What were you thinking when you were getting these text messages?
None of the texts were fully clear. So they were really confusing at first. So I was kind of asking to elaborate.
Did she actually send you a picture of
No,
the
no.
area where this candle supposedly fell down?
Yes.
And do we see that now on the TV screen?
Yes.
This is sent January 26, 2020 at 9:57 p.m.
Yes.
Can we go ahead and scroll down again, please? So she says when you ask about Chance, she says, no, Chance was upstairs. The house is smoky. Do you remember her saying that to you?
Yes.
Scroll down, please. Said the first was on Chance. What did you mean by that?
I meant fire.
So did you think there was two fires, or?
I thought that's what she meant the whole time, that the fire was on Chance, because she never said any names.
Go ahead and scroll down. They fire, and then she says, I jumped on him with a cover. Remember that?
Yes.
You ever talk to your mom about this text message on the phone or in person about what the heck are you talking about? What happened here?
I did once I got home.
Talk about that when we get there, okay?
Okay.
Let's go ahead and scroll down and look at the text message. And so you say, oh, okay. And she says, I never said Chance. Remember getting that?
Yes.
You said jumped on him, and you said OMG again, right?
Yes.
Says yes, but never said Chance. Read again.
No way did that fire happen
Yes.
from a candle.
I just had a heart attack.
Yes.
Why did you
In my opinion.
a heart attack? But why did you say I just had a heart attack?
Because I thought that she meant Chance, and still no names were said. So I don't know who she was referring to at that point in time.
Did you eventually?
What do you guys think?
see
Did a
if you scroll
candle start
down
this
and
fire?
find out that it was Gannon she was referring to?
I heard someone say that carpets are now made with like basically fire resistant
Yes.
something or other. They
Obviously, when you get
tested
home,
on
you
new
find that out.
carpet
Yeah.
matches, even
So you're asking
torches,
where the other dog is, Sadie,
and it
right?
did
Mhm.
not start a fire. So what the hell caused that
Yes,
fire?
sorry.
It was not the candle.
And your mom responds, she was in the chair.
Like there's some kind of
Yes.
fire
So you're concerned
retardant
about
now
the dog.
in
Yes.
in these carpets,
Go ahead and scroll down some more.
which is great. But
Didn't
it
say
was
OMG by the fire.
I can't remember where I seen it, but this guy was like some kind of expert.
Yes.
So your mom says that Lena grabbed Sadie and I grabbed Chance NR. Right?
Yes.
What do you guys think? How did this
Did you
fire
talk to her
start?
about that when you
Yes.
Chance? Now all of us were upstairs. Do you remember her saying that?
Yes.
Understand? He was downstairs. You know who she was talking about when she said he was downstairs at that point?
Not until the next message.
Mm.
So you say Gannon was downstairs.
Yes.
She says yes, right?
Yes.
During this
Mhm.
conversation, is that the first time that you realize that Gannon may have been burned or was part of this fire situation?
Yes.
Damn.
OMG. You ask her, how did he knock it over? Why did you
Yes.
ask her that?
Because at this point, I'm still confused of what happened or how it happened.
Was there some confusion based on your experience of Gannon not being the type of kid that would hang out by a candle in the basement?
Yes.
Scroll down.
Right? 11-year-olds aren't really
Says
thinking
he
about
said
the
he must have
ambiance.
Fell asleep. You say, so it wasn't? I think you meant to say knocked over. Is that
Yes.
right? I don't even know how you pronounce that. You can go ahead and scroll down. He says, yes, OMG, can you read? Sounds like a typical mother, teenage daughter text conversation going on here, right?
Yes.
Other than the obvious fire situation.
Yes.
Hmm.
So how did you respond to that, you know?
Yes.
So she goes on and says, he must have knocked it over while asleep unless he was awake and lied. That sound like something Gannon would do?
Be honest here, little girl. Come on.
I don't know, because kids will lie sometimes, so I can't really answer that.
Okay, no problem. You can go ahead and scroll down some more, please. She says, but he acted sorry for sure. And you say AWW. What does AWW stand for?
Aw.
Like oh?
No, like, oh,
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. So do you remember about what time you got off work on the 26th during this text messaging process here?
yeah, it was.
What did she
late
burn
around
him with?
10:30 or so.
If the information from Massage Envy says you clocked out at 10:18 p.m. on January 26th, would that be accurate?
Yes.
Just refreshing, Your Honor.
Pretty little girl.
You know, you can ask her what time she thinks she clocked out.
Do you know approximately what time you clocked out and left work that day?
Yes, a little after 10 sometime.
In between 10 and 10:30?
Yes.
Do you remember what time you got home?
Takes me like 25 minutes or so to get home, so a little bit of time after that.
Did you talk to your mom on your way home from Massage Envy that night?
I normally tell her that I'm leaving, so probably yes.
So what do you see when you get home? Describe to the jury what you see in the house when you got home from work.
I get home. My mom and Lena are in the living room and they're telling me about the fire. Gannon wasn't upstairs at this point.
So who you said they are telling you? Were both Lena and your mom telling you about what happened downstairs?
Yes.
What did your mom tell you at this point when you did?
She told me that the candle was knocked over. She thinks that he was playing on his Nintendo when he wasn't supposed to be, so that maybe that's how he knocked it over. That after the fire, they ran outside and she called her fireman friend and asked if the fumes in the house were okay for us to go back inside, and they said yes. And she said that when they were in the street, Gannon was screaming that he hates his life and screaming different things.
What did you think about that last part your mother just told you about Gannon?
I didn't think that the candle thing was a big deal, so it was just still so like confusing.
Was your mother concerned about Albert finding out about this and being upset about it?
Normally, Albert's not the one to get mad about like stuff getting messed up. So
When she told you about Gannon going out in the street and yelling that he hates his life and things like that, did that sound like the Gannon that you knew?
no, he hasn't done that before.
You said that it was Lena and your mom upstairs when you got home on the 26th afternoon.
Mhm.
Do you know where Gannon was at?
Downstairs.
Did you go downstairs?
Yes.
What did you see when you went downstairs?
Him laying in his bed
Did you go into his room?
by the doorway.
Was he asleep?
I don't remember.
Did you talk to him?
No.
Was the light on in his room?
I don't know.
Is that the last time you saw him?
Yes.
Were there any windows open in the basement when you went down there?
Yes, the windows were open. It was cold down there.
How many windows were open down in the basement?
I don't know.
It was January 26th at, you know about what time it is now when you went down to Gannon's room?
It was a little later because my mom was like, let's go tell Gannon goodnight. So that's why we went down there.
Anything unusual about your mom saying, let's go tell Gannon goodnight?
Not something that she normally would do.
It's not something she would normally do?
Correct.
That's surprising to you when she said that?
Yes.
She go down there with you when you went to Gannon's room?
Yes, we both went down there.
Do you recall your mom talking to Gannon?
She said goodnight to him. She was like, good night.
Do you know whether or not Gannon responded?
I don't remember now.
So was Gannon's bedroom window open as well?
I don't know.
Was it cold down in the basement?
Yes.
Did you sleep down in the basement that night?
No.
Where was your room within the house?
In the basement.
Would it have been close to Gannon's room, or was it like on the other side of the basement area?
On the other side of the basement.
Was your room cold in there?
I don't remember.
Why'd you sleep upstairs?
Because it was cold downstairs. You could still smell like the fumes and like everything just felt like everything in the house just felt weird.
Why did it feel weird?
Because my mom made the comments. She was like, Gannon's acting weird. I don't know what's wrong with him. She said that she was scared.
Who else slept upstairs?
Lena.
Is there anyone else in the house?
No.
So it's you, your mom, Lena, and Gannon?
Yes.
Gannon's the only one sleeping in the basement?
Yes.
It's cold down there?
Yes.
Are we talking freezing cold, or was it just colder than the upstairs?
Colder than the upstairs.
That's why you didn't sleep down.
Yeah.
And where did you sleep? In particular, what bed?
In my parents' room.
Did you sleep with your mom in the same bed?
Yes.
There
Sorry.
you go. Okay, good.
Young, if you could find a reasonable breaking point in the next 5 minutes. please.
This is a good breaking point right now, Judge, if you like.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will take our morning recess until 10:45. Again, do not discuss the case among yourselves. Do not discuss the case with anyone else. And we'll see you back at 10:45. All rise for the jury, please.
All righty. Let me see. I just have to tidy something. I'm tidying something up. Okay, let's see. Well, I don't know. What do you guys think of Harley? That I think she's being honest. What do you guys think? Is there honesty in there? I mean, she came on there crying. Oh. Okay. So where the hell? Okay, well, maybe we'll just do this. There we go. So I'm going to go back. I have some. Well, you guys check those out. They're adorable. Oh my God. And I am going to tidy up a couple of things here that I got going. I feel bad for her. How do you guys feel? Like, oh my God. Having her as a mother? And do you think she's being honest? I don't know. I do, guys. I think she's being honest. But allegedly, she did go on that 1,300-mile trek with her mother and having Gannon. So I'm sure they will get there with that. But how damaging is that? How damaging is that to a kid? Like, oh my word. And I would love to know if, if her mom is giving her like dirty looks and things like that, because I could so see it. You know, I could see it. Let me see here. And yeah, I'm glad the judge moved her. Like, are you kidding me? And that was like the best thing to see him tell her off. It's like, oh, golden. It's golden. He definitely made himself clear, did he not? It's like, what? Okay, I found this. And you have to think, doing all this, she is considered completely sane. She is just evil. Damn it, evil. Okay, where do I have this now? Yeah, and allegedly getting her son involved, or I'm sorry, her daughter involved with this in any aspect is like, unreal. So I wonder where Harley has ended up, you know? Where has that kid ended up? Brutal. So I also have my fair use clause. I'm just making sure it's in all my videos right now. There, that, I mean, again, what were we saying earlier? Disclaimer, disclaimer, disclaimer. So right now I cannot see you guys. If you're chit-chatting, I apologize. I will hear when court resumes. Okay, I think I'm good now. I think I'm good. Okay, yeah, Leticia. Oofda. Oofda. So I've been popping around trying to find information on Brian Koberger, and nothing has come out in mainstream that I have found yet on whether or not that whole trans, gender identification thing. It just might be a rumor because I am not seeing anything, and you'd think that everybody would be all over that. No, I'm not seeing anything. So yeah. That's the thing, Mexie. She lied for her mother in that damn interview. So what's going to happen now, right? I want to feel bad for Harley, but I need to know that she had nothing to do with this. And, if she did have something to do with this, I mean, I don't know. I think that her mom's pretty evil and could have just said, "You're coming with me." You know what I mean? And hopefully her mom not being around the past while. Oh, isn't that awesome? Mine sleep in a coconut like that too. Well, some of them. I've got 1, 2, I got 4 cages. And big cages. Lots of playroom for everybody. Oh my God, look at them all, really. I love these ones, like the light colored. Damn. Yeah, that's very similar to what I have. Very, very similar. They keep the back covered like that. See how it looks like they're kind of barricaded in? Because literally, if they're eating and they take a couple bites and they don't like it, they throw it over the shoulder and it sticks to your walls. Oh, there's more. That looks like mine. Well, hello, Bruja. Oh my God, look at it. Oh my God. Nice, Bruja. That's nice. Oh my God. Oh my God. It just makes me want to play with mine. Look at, oh my God. The weekly recap. Absolutely. Oh my God, look at that. Yeah, I want to play with mine. So probably what they're doing to get these really light colored is I'll have to check unless the male's neutered, but I'll bet you that leucistic is probably breeding with a female gray to get all of these really cool colors. Yeah, awesome. Awesome, awesome. Let's see what else I can find. Oh, this is kind of cute too. Oh, yummy, yummy, yummy. Yummy, yummy. Animals are awesome is who this is their video. Oh my God. So check them out. Oh my God, look at the babies. Damn. Oh my God. Yeah, I want more. I want more. I got some white males and some white females. The only problem is when you're trying to breed them, the males really want to attack. So if the males have a scent gland, you'll see a little bald spot on their heads. And what that is a scent gland. And everyone that they live with has that same smell. They that's how they get their, I don't know what you'd call it. 4 generations will live together and not hurt each other. They're good. But the males have the little scent gland, and that is to recognize who's theirs and who is like a, who's infiltrating them. Like they won't, oh, look at this. Meow. So he might have just jumped into his owner's hand. Oh no. Oh, look at that. They're all on the owner. Amazing. Yeah, God love them. So even little, you'll start to see that little scent gland. I'm going to put peach juice in my, like the ones that I have. I'm going to put peach juice in their water today. They should enjoy that. That's a little female, no bald spot. Woo! Isn't that awesome? Oh, his tail was white at the end. He or she. So yeah, in the wild, they won't go for another outsider coming in. They will kill that sugar glider if it does not. Oh, look at the coloring. If it does not have that scent gland. Jump, jump, sweetie, jump. Oh my God, is that cheese in there? Oh, I have to look that up. I never thought about cheese. Oh my word. Just adorable. That's a boy. You see that little scent gland in the middle of the head? It's a little boy. Meow. Oh, yep. Meow. So they will literally crawl into your pocket and go to sleep. Yeah. Oh my God. Yes, please. Isn't that amazing? Oh my God. How do you not just love meow? Oh yeah. And they use them as hands, Mexi. They are so smart. Like they're brilliant little critters. They're not like a hamster. These little guys are smart. And everybody's got their own little personality. Where'd you go, Mr., Miss, or whatever? So yeah, if they've been neutered, the same way to look at, like to figure out the sex is that spot. Oh, yeah. Good night. Hi, who's out here? I have to be careful with mine because of the dogs. Oh, there's a girl and a boy in there. Aren't you nice? Yeah, I can't get enough of them. Court should be back in session right away here. Let's see, this is a compilation. Oh, that's a little boy. Oh, he's a nice baby. Your life is good. Oh, beautiful. Oh my God. Oh, beautiful. He's your baby. Oh my God, beautiful coloring. I got a gnat, Mom, a little tiny gnat. Damn. They like, if mine are out and they're freaked out, I hold them, like I cup my hand and hold them, and that will settle them down. Love the grapes. Yummy, yummy. Mm. Oh my goodness. Yeah. A pouch, and that's what you put in there. They've got a little screen in them so they get some air. This looks like a pouch for the cage. Oh my goodness. Just look around, Mom. Isn't she beautiful? Like I said, they are so soft. Hello. Oh my God. Yes, please. Mm. Damn. Very cute. Very, very cute. So I think I am going to see if Court's in. It's really bizarre because sometimes they change the stream. So I just checked another one too, and they haven't done that yet. I've come on here like after a break or something, and they've totally canceled that stream. So I have to go looking for them again. I mean, it's not like it's hard or anything. I just don't want to miss anything. So we've got, I don't even know what this is. So we'll just get rid of it. And nothing. Okay, yeah. I don't think anything's happening. Mexi. Do you know what? They live out of, like they live up high in their natural habitat. They live up at the top of the canopies in the rainforest, and they live up in the canopies. So chances of one ever being low enough that you can swat it in a place like that is not likely. And when they're in like a domestic setting, they're not going to go near you unless they know you. So they're safe, you're safe. I enjoy them, like, oh my God. But I have not had one unexpectedly jump at me, even though they know me. But that would be the instinct, wouldn't it? Just a swat. Mm. All I take for pain medication is like regular Tylenol, and it just doesn't cut it some days. Most times. That's all I'm allowed. Oh my word. Okay. Might be some movement in court. Last thing you want to listen to is me and my fibromyalgia stories. Good Lord, Martha. Okay. And let's check it out.
All rise for the jury, please. Thank you. You may all be seated. Court will recall 20 CR 1358 People versus Letecia Stauch. Record should reflect the jury has returned to the courtroom. When we took our break, we were in the midst of the testimony of Ms. Hunt. That's where we will resume. With that, Mr. Young.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Hunt, there's a few more text messages from January 26th that I want to cover with you
Okay.
before we go into the 27th. Your book should be opened up to January 26th at 10:30, or excuse me, 10:10 p.m. Do you see that? You see a text from your mother that says, "My arm is burnt jumping on him."
Yes.
Are you still at work when you get this text?
Yes.
So you say OMG. Can we go ahead and scroll down, please? And you say the fire was on Gannon.
Yes.
Are things becoming now clearer for you as to what she was talking about in her text message last time you were at work?
Yes.
Go scroll down. Go ahead and go down a little bit further. Yep. And she responds, "No, the cover was." Do you remember that?
Yes.
Scroll down, please. He was wrapped in it. Remember her saying that?
Yes.
Now, when you got home, I know we talked about what you saw, but did you see any injuries to your mom?
No.
Did you see any burn marks on her arm?
I don't remember.
When you got that prior text about her saying that she burned her arm jumping on him, were you concerned that your mother may have been burned during this fire?
Yes.
Did you ask her about it when you got home?
No.
Did she say anything about being burned when you got home?
I don't remember.
You can go ahead and scroll down. She says, "I jumped on him though, because he had the cover around him." Do you remember her saying that?
Yes.
Scroll down. They say OMGG has. And it looks like we can scroll down again that she sent you a picture. Do you remember what that picture was?
Of the couch being burnt.
Was it the floor area with some blankets around what appears to be a burned area of the carpet?
Hmm. Yes. Sorry.
Do you remember getting that night?
Yes.
Go ahead and scroll down, please. And you ask, "What is that?" Did she ever answer that?
No.
Okay. And so, do you remember about what time you went to bed that night after you got home?
No.
Do you remember whether or not you had to work in the morning?
I did. Yes.
And what time did you have to be at work now on the 27th of January, 2020?
By 8:30.
That normal working time in the morning?
Yes.
We can scroll down now to a text from January 27th, 2020. Again, the blue is you. Do you remember making that text? "Are you here?"
Yes.
Why did you ask your mother if she is here? Remember?
I don't remember. No.
When you say here, are you referring to the house?
Yes.
Were you still at home at 7:20 a.m. on January 27th, 2020?
Yes.
Do you remember about what time you left the house?
Around 8 o'clock.
So earlier you testified that you slept in the same bed with your mother that night.
Mhm.
Does that give you any context as to why you might text her and say, "Are you here?"
I don't remember why I said it. 'Cause I didn't see her.
So she wasn't in bed when you woke up, maybe?
Yes.
You know where she went or where she was at?
No.
Can you scroll down, please? It looks like that she texted you another picture January 27th at 9:05 a.m. Do you recall getting a picture from her then?
Yes,
Do you know what that picture is?
of our dog.
Okay, do you know which dog it is?
Yes, Sadie.
Is that the first time you had any communication with your mom that morning?
Yes,
Would you have been at work by then?
yes,
I know it's been over 3 years, but do you recall whether or not your mom's vehicle was at the residence when you went to work that day?
I don't remember.
What kind of car did your mom drive?
A black Volkswagen Tiguan.
Fairly new?
Yes,
Was it under lease?
yes,
What kind of car were you driving?
a Volkswagen Jetta.
And what kind of car was Albert driving when he was home?
A Nissan truck.
Remember what color that truck was?
Red.
So you go to work. Are you at work then when you get this picture of, did you say that was Sadie?
Yes,
So you are at work then?
yes.
All right. And what was your shift going to be that day? Do you recall? What time would you get off?
I don't remember. It was like a morning shift, so it lasts until 4:30 or so.
We can go ahead and scroll down, please. So when you get the image of Sadie, you say OMG. And she says, she was like, it's warm. Let me try. Is your mom talking about Sadie?
Yes,
Okay. Did you know that when you got this message?
yes,
Can you scroll down, please? Then on January 27th at 9:27 a.m., your mother texts you, OMG, something isn't right. Do you remember getting that text message?
yes.
Do you have any idea what that meant?
No,
Do you have any idea what that means now?
yes.
What does that mean now?
She sent me screenshots of text messages after that.
And what were the screenshots and what text messages were they?
It was a conversation between her and Albert.
Remember what the substance of that conversation was?
About bath salts or hanging out with Gannon's older friend.
How did the bath salts and the older friend relate to Gannon in this text message?
It was said that that's what he had mentioned.
Did you ever know Gannon to use bath salts or have any association with bath salts the entire time that you knew him?
No,
Okay, if we can scroll down, please. And so we see now images on an attachment that was sent from your mom. It looks like it was sent to you at 9:29 a.m. on January 27th. Is that the screenshots that you just talked about that she sent you?
yes,
What were you thinking was going on here? I mean, had she ever sent you any messages like this before in the past?
no,
Any messages related to how Gannon and his activities and what's going on with Gannon ever sent to you in the past by your mother?
not like the messages, no.
Was it a shock for you to see that somehow Gannon may have been related to bath salts?
Yes,
Why?
I didn't even know we had bath salts, and I wouldn't even think he would know what those are.
Did you know what they were back then?
Yes,
What were they?
put him in the bathtub.
Okay. Ask a stupid question, you get right. Did you know whether or not kids were using bath salts at this time frame as a drug or a method to get high, that kind of thing?
I did not at the time, no.
Did you later learn about that?
Yes,
But when you get this message, you didn't connect that as to being Gannon may have been trying to get high on bath salts or something?
no,
Can you scroll down, please? So you didn't respond to that, but at 4:20 p.m. You text your mother, her just got off.
Yes.
What is that?
I always text her when I like leave or when I get off.
Do that pretty routinely?
Yes.
And how did she respond to you saying just got off?
She said yay.
Had you talked to her on the phone at any point up until this time frame when you got off of work?
No.
Had you had any idea what her plans were that day on January 27th, 2020, when you were at work?
No. I did get a text message though from Gannon's phone.
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
I approach a witness.
May.
I hand you what's been marked as People's Exhibit 204. And that's a plastic sleeve, so you can pull the contents out. And I'll ask if you recognize that. Have you had a chance to look at that?
Yes.
What is People's Exhibit 204?
It's
what
a
it is?
message between me and Gannon's phone.
And is that what you're talking about? Is that the message you got indicating what it says here?
Yes.
And what was your understanding of what this message meant to you?
That my mom left her phone at home and if I needed anything to text Gannon's phone.
And does that help refresh your memory as to what was going on the 27th while you were at work?
Yes.
And does these messages accurately reflect the conversation you had with regards to these two phones back on January 27th, 2020?
Yes.
Move to admit People's Exhibit 204.
Defense. Exhibit 204 will be admitted. Go ahead.
And so rather than publish it, I'm going to ask you to read it. Is the messages from Gannon's phone, is that in green on People's Exhibit 204?
Yes.
Could you read the messages and at what time you got those from Gannon's phone?
At 10:37, he messaged, Tisha left phone at home. If you need her, text me. And then at 1:20, messaged, you okay, miss you.
And did you respond to that particular message?
Yes. At 1:24, I said, yes, miss you too.
So if you needed to get a hold of your mom, you knew you needed to call Gannon's phone. Is that what this is all about?
Yes.
Did you know whether or not where they were going or what they were doing when the message came in saying she left her phone at home?
At the time, no.
Was that unusual for your mother to leave her own phone at home when she went out running errands or to do whatever she was going to do?
Yes.
Why was that unusual?
She always brought her phone everywhere.
Did you think it was unusual at the time you got this text message from Gannon's phone saying, hey, Tisha left her phone at home. Call me if you need something?
No.
Why do you think it's unusual now?
It's just weird how this particular day she left her phone at home.
And you say that because when you get off of work and get home, Gannon wasn't there?
Yes.
So how long did it take you to get home on the 27th, 2020? Do you recall?
No.
What happens when you get home?
When I get home, mom's upstairs, just have a normal conversation, and she tells me that she looked up on the internet how to like remove fire stains from the carpet. So she wanted me to go to the store and get that stuff for her.
Who did you see home when you got home?
I remember seeing my mom home, and then Lena came in after.
Did you see Gannon?
No.
Think anything unusual about Gannon not being home when you get off work?
I did ask her, I said, "Where is Gannon at?" And she said that he was with one of his friends and that she told him to come back by a certain time because we were going to dinner.
So if you text your mother that you just got off at 4:20 p.m., what time do you think you got home based on that text message?
4:50.
If we have People's Exhibit 47 that shows you getting home at 4:37 p.m., would that be about right?
Yeah.
Do you know that there's Ring video in your neighborhood and you can see when cars are going? And
Yes.
so if you get home about 4:37 p.m., where was Lena at when you got home?
She was outside playing. I remember her coming in with like a bike.
And what time, do you know what time she got out of school?
Elementary gets out at like 2:30.
She ride the bus to and from school?
Yes.
Would it be unusual for her to be outside from getting off the bus up until you got home from work?
Yes, because normally there's like a routine. Kids would come home and like get snacks, do their homework, and then they would go outside and play.
So when you get home that day, what was your mother doing?
I don't remember. I just remember talking to her before I left.
You remember about how long you were in the house before you left?
No,
Did you ever go down to the basement?
no,
Lena ever go down to the basement?
not that I know of. No.
Your mother ever go down to the basement while you're at home?
I know she did after, maybe, I'm not sure.
So do you remember about how long you were in the house before you left?
No, it was very like brief.
If the video says it's about 15 to 16 minutes by the time you pull up and then leave again with Lena, would that be accurate?
Yes.
And again, for the record, that's People's Exhibit 47. So what did your mom ask you to do when you were at home?
She asked me to go to the dollar store to get the items that she sent me because it was too clean, like the fire that happened downstairs the night before.
And did anyone go with you to the dollar store?
Lena did, yes.
Whose idea was it for Lena to go with you?
My mom's.
Why is that, you know?
No.
And did she tell you exactly what you needed to buy at the dollar store?
Yes.
And do you remember what that was?
Looking at the messages, yes.
Okay, I'm gonna, if I can just have a second, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
You remember getting a receipt from the dollar store when you went there?
I don't know.
Okay. Let me see if I can help you. Coach Yarn?
You may.
I'm going to hand you People's Exhibit 197 and 198, okay?
Okay.
You recognize those items? Let's start with 197.
Yes.
What is People's Exhibit 197?
The items that I bought at the dollar store.
And is that a photograph of a receipt from the dollar store?
Yes.
What about 198? You see that envelope?
Yes.
They're writing on that envelope?
At the top?
Yeah, is there like a label with some print on it?
Yes.
Does that relate to the dollar store receipt that we have a photograph of in 197?
Yes.
There's some scissors to your right on that table right there. Would you mind opening that envelope and just pulling out whatever's in there and take a look at it to yourself if you don't mind?
I can just cut the top.
You can cut it. You know, it's okay if I open it?
That's fine.
Thanks. And just for the record, I'll cut it open for you, okay? Cut it along the side here. Scissors back on that table, please. You can pull that item out of that envelope and take a look at it.
Wait, hold on. She need gloves.
No, it's a,
Go ahead.
do you want gloves? Guess I should ask you, right?
I don't know.
There's some gloves. If you don't want to touch anything in there, you can put gloves on.
Okay.
We can do it this way. How about I pull it out?
Okay.
I'll show that to you. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
What is that?
The receipt.
Okay. Is that the same receipt that we have a photograph of in 197?
Yes.
The same general condition it was when you got it back on January 27th, 2020.
Yes.
It's lawyer stuff. Bear with me, okay? Your Honor, I move to admit People's Exhibit 197 and 198 at this time.
That's no. Exhibits 197 and 198 will be admitted.
Request to publish People's Exhibit 197.
You may go ahead.
As we're pulling that up, we may have to mute the screen, Your Honor, so that we can pull up another exhibit. Thanks. Did your mom tell you why you needed to buy these items at the dollar store?
Yes.
Why?
To help with the fire that happened the night before. She said that she looked it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That she looked up, like looked it up.
So did she want to clean the area where the fire was? Is that what's going on?
Yes.
Is that what she told you?
Yes.
Is that there? Okay, we can probably unmute it now, Judge. Thanks. So behind you on the TV screen, we have 197. Can you just read off the items that you bought there at the Dollar Tree?
Elastics. Sorry, it's kind of blurry.
You could probably look at the one behind you. It might be a little clearer. Maybe you can zoom in a little bit. Better?
Yes. Elastics, extra strength. EEO. I don't know what that stands for.
Deodorizer, maybe?
Yes.
Remember buying deodorizer at the Dollar Tree that day?
Yes. Baking soda, baby oil, baby lotion, double bubble, trash bags, and cotton rounds.
Bubble gum there as well, maybe?
Yes.
Is that Lena?
Yes. I remember I had got like lotion and stuff for myself there too. So yeah.
And so you and Lena go. Do you remember about how long you were gone?
No.
We can take that down if you like. What happens when you get home?
We get back, time had gone by. There was like a specific time that my mom said that she asked Gannon to be home. And as time like approached, he never came home.
So was there a plan for you guys to have dinner together or anything like that on the
Yes.
27th when you got home?
Yes.
Tell the jury about that.
She said that she asked him to come home by like 5 or 6 and said that we were going to go eat sushi. And then when time had gone by and he didn't get back, she was like, I guess he didn't want to eat sushi. And then after that, we started looking for him.
Did she tell you when he had went to a friend's house?
No.
Was it unusual for Gannon to go to a friend's house and play and do things that normal 11-year-old kids do?
No.
So at that point, what did you think? I mean, was it unusual for him not to come home when he was told to come home?
Yes,
What do you base that on?
because he's very specific with like time.
Is your mother pretty strict when it comes to following the rules around the house?
Yes,
Been that way with you your entire life?
yes,
Has she been that way with Lena and Gannon?
yes,
You go over there, you're gonna be home at a certain time, or there's gonna be consequences type thing?
yes.
And so what was your mom's demeanor like? What was her expressions when she was telling you that Gannon was supposed to be home at 6 and he didn't come home?
She was worried. Remember, we got in the car and we drove to his friend's house. Lena walked up to the door to knock and see if he was there. They said no. And after that, that's when she started to get worried.
Green again.
Yes, as soon as she's ready, Judge. I mean, we can unmute it now, Judge, if you don't mind. Thanks. So what I'd like to do is scroll down, if it's okay, Mr. Gratiano, to January 27th. At 7:02 p.m. Be the next one there. If you go, keep going. Are you there? Do you see that text message in the book that you have in front of you?
Yes,
It appears to be a screenshot of something. Do you remember what that screenshot was?
messages between her and Albert.
Now at 7:02 p.m. on the 27th, were you out looking for Gannon? Is that when you and Lena were going to friend's house to see if he was there, that type of thing?
Yes,
You know why she's sending you this screenshot? Did she ever tell you why she was doing that?
I can't remember what's on it.
Okay. That's okay, Harley. We can move on. Why don't we scroll down, please? And then she sends you any luck at 7:08 p.m. on the 27th. Do you know what she was referring to with regards to that?
To finding Gannon.
Did she go out with you to look for Gannon at all?
We all went out together at first, and then I remember I took my car and drove down to his school to see if he was like at the park or something.
At that point in time, did you think he was out and about? And what was going on through your mind? Did you think he had run away or what?
Yeah, I just thought that he had ran away or he was just at his friends, didn't want to come home.
Why did you think that?
That's just what I was told. So
Who was telling you that?
my mom.
Can you scroll down, please? And so you're responding to her. I couldn't remember the exact road that the park is on. Usually can just see with my eyes, but it is so dark, so I couldn't tell, but I'm at the school now. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes,
And you're at Gannon's school at this point in time?
yes.
And Lena's with you? Or do you remember?
I don't remember.
And you say, if we scroll down, please. Look, OMG. And she responds, okay, anything. Do you know what's going on when this is being relayed to you?
No.
And then if we scroll down some more, please. You're asking your mom to ask Lena if she remembers any cars. Does that sound about right?
Yes.
Why are you asking her that?
At this point in time, I'm pretty sure we were like knocking door to door. Um, we had got told that he was with his friend Jimmy or something. And Lena couldn't remember which house was Jimmy's house. So I was like, does she remember like any cars or anything that was there?
Did you see, because the next message is old station wagon. Did you see an old station wagon out there? Is that why you're asking your mom about that?
Yes.
So you're asking her to ask Lena if Lena remembers an old station wagon. Does that sound right?
Yes, because she had been to this kid's house before.
Okay, we can go ahead and scroll down. You're asking, or old cars. Is that the same thing? I mean, are you seeing old vehicles out in the neighborhood or something like that?
Yeah.
You ask about colors, and do you remember how your mom responded?
She said, no, don't go there by yourself.
Can we scroll down, please? Keep going, please. And then she says, Connor's mom is on the way and she could go with you. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Is there any reason why, or did your mom tell you any reason why she wasn't going with you to help look for Danny?
She said that she was going to stay home unless like he came home, so somebody would be there.
Can you scroll down, please? And she's asking again, anything yet? And keep scrolling, please, to you say no, and then she says anything. And there's a time gap of a minute or 10 minutes, it looks like, between the anything. So is that, do you remember that happening as you're out searching? She texts you to see if you're finding anything?
Yes.
If we can scroll down to January 27th at 8:43. A little further down. She tells you that she's still waiting. Do you know what that was about?
Still waiting at the house.
And so is that telling you that Gannon hadn't come home yet?
Yes.
You respond no. Why did you respond no to that? Do you remember?
From her previous message.
So what did she mean by still waiting when you said no? It's kind of confusing to me.
I had said no to her previous anything message.
Oh, okay. Got it. And then you say, look at the recent comment and we can scroll down. Remember saying that?
Yes.
And you ask her, do you need me to get you anything? Do you remember that?
Yes.
And we can scroll down. She says, no, I may need to go to the store. Recall that?
Yes.
Do you know what store she needed to go to?
No.
And then below that at 6:21 a.m., which would be now the next morning, January 28th, there's a text message to you that says, don't answer the door for anyone. That's all.
Yes. So we had made a post in our neighborhood Facebook group. And she said that a bunch of people have her address, so people might show up. So don't answer the door.
While you're out on the night of January 27th, 2020, was there several people in the neighborhood looking for Gannon at the same time?
Not like people how it was like days after.
Did the police eventually come to your house on January 27th, 2020?
Yes.
And do you know why the police came to your house?
To file a police report.
Do you know whether or not your mother had dialed 911 or called the police?
I remember when we were in the car when it first happened, she was like, "What do I do? Do I call Albert?" And I remember she called Albert, and I don't remember if she called 911 or I don't know.
Regardless, the police show up. Do you remember about what time they showed up to your house?
I remember they took a long time to get there, but I don't know what time.
Prior to the police getting there, do you remember your mom telling you to look at Gannon's backpack to see if
Yes.
you do that?
Yes.
What did you see in Gannon's backpack during this time?
When you open the backpack, you had a folder in there, and in the folder was a Swisher Sweets,
And what is a Swisher Sweets?
like a cigar roll thing.
What did you think about when you saw a cigar in Gannon's backpack?
Wasn't like him, and I was like, I don't know how a kid got this.
Flash forward to when the police get there. Did your mom tell the police anything about a Swisher Sweet cigar being in his backpack?
I don't know.
You recall when the police were there that your mom bring you in to talk about this Swisher Sweet cigar? It's in the backpack.
I don't know.
You know that the police officers had body worn cameras on and audio in there.
Yes. Mhm.
If that happened, that would be on those.
Yes. Mhm.
But what did you think about the Swisher Sweet being in the backpack and your mother having you go search his backpack?
For one, I didn't understand why it was in his backpack, and it's not like it was trying to be hidden because it was, as soon as you opened it, it was right there. So
So if it was Gannon's Swisher Sweet cigar, you wouldn't expect to find it. It would have been hidden in the backpack. Is that what you're saying?
correct, yes.
But it was out in the open. As soon as you open the backpack, there it is.
Yes, like in the folder, yes.
You just have a moment, Your Honor.
Me?
Do you remember texting other people, friends in the neighborhood, people that you worked with that may have lived in the neighborhood, about Gannon being missing? Can you look for him or let me know if you see him, that kind of stuff?
Yes.
Were you doing that pretty routinely during this time frame, the night of January 27, 2020?
Yes.
Did you get any response from any of them?
Yes.
What was their responses?
Like praying for you. I'll keep my eye out. Let me know if you need anything.
None of them saw Gannon though.
No.
So January 28th at 2020, she's telling you don't answer the door for anyone. Do you remember when you got that particular text message?
What do you mean?
Did you read it as soon as you got it, or did you read it when you woke up that morning?
Whenever I woke up.
Remember what time you woke up that morning?
No.
We can scroll down, please. She then sends you a text that says, I'm going to see if people are out looking at 6:21 a.m. on January 28th, 20. Now, if you see below that, it says read January 28th, 2020, 7:25, 22.
Yes.
Is that when you would have read this text message?
Yes.
And if we scroll back up a little bit, it says the same thing for the prior one.
Yes.
Does that help you recall when you got up that day?
Yes.
So what did you think about that when you got this text message? Don't answer the door for anyone. I'm going to see if people are out looking.
I thought that she just woke up early to try to look for Gannon.
Up until this point, at 6:21, January 28th, to the point where your mother says that Gannon went to his house, Had you ever gone into the storage room of your house?
No.
You know where the storage room is? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
It's where the furnace is and where boxes are and things like that.
Yes.
Did you ever go in there?
No.
Are you a light sleeper or a heavy sleeper?
Heavy sleeper.
If your mom was in the basement at 6 a.m. on January 28th, would you have heard her down there?
No.
Would you have heard her if there was objects being moved around within the basement?
No.
Did you see her at 7:25 a.m. on January 28th when you woke up?
I don't remember.
Why don't we scroll down and see if that helps us? So at 7:31 a.m., you send her, it looks like a screenshot. Do you remember what that screenshot was?
Yes. There was just people in our neighborhood Facebook group like saying things or posting like their ring footage. So I would try to keep her updated.
And is that if we scroll down, some other screenshots we see, is that what you're sending your mom is what people are posting?
Yes.
And then you say, if we can scroll down some more, please. She's sending it see page. Do you remember that?
Yes.
What did you mean by that?
Separate.
Okay. Separate page, as it says down below.
I think I just meant she is sending it separate.
Now, what was your understanding as to what was going on with Albert? Was Deanna's missing? It's been overnight. We're now on the January 28th in the morning. Do you know whether or not Albert was making arrangements to come home?
Yes, he was.
Do you know whether or not your mother was going to pick him up at the airport or somewhere else?
She was gonna, I think she was gonna pick him up at the airport. I don't know, things had like changed so much.
Did she go to pick him up at the airport? Do you remember?
I remember her leaving, yes.
Did you talk to her before she left?
No.
We talked about your mother's vehicle, this black Tiguan, earlier this morning. Where would she park this vehicle?
In the garage.
How would she park in the garage? Would she pull in with the front first or would she back?
Varies.
The garage has got a lot of woodworking equipment in it and not a lot of room to park in there.
Yes.
Do you know how she parked in that garage the night of January 27th, 2020?
I think she pulled in
Pull in, what does that mean?
like didn't back in, she pulled straight in.
So the front of the car is going in first?
Mhm. Yes.
And so do you know how it was parked on the morning of January 28th, 2020, before she left to go get Albert in there?
No.
You see it that morning.
I don't know.
You don't remember or you don't know?
I don't remember.
But you knew your mom was going to go get him that morning.
Yes.
So as she's gone, does she text you with regards to your vehicle, the white Jetta?
I don't remember.
Okay, well, let's scroll down and see if that helps refresh. We can go down one more, please. So at January 28th at 8:44 a.m., she says, wants shoes are at the front door. Do you take that to mean what shoes are at the front door?
Yes.
And did you respond? I mean, what was it? Did you know what that was about? Why is she asking you about shoes at the front door?
There were ring videos that people were posting. So we were trying to think like what shoes was he last wearing?
Okay.
And
then
if
did
I
you?
took a picture, then she would know based upon what's at the door.
Okay, so we scroll down. Are those pictures Is that a picture of shoes at the front door
Yes.
that you sent her?
Yes.
And then if we keep scrolling down, there's a screenshot.
Yes.
Is that this another screenshot from the neighborhood? People posting things on the Facebook page and things like that?
Yeah, and people, I think one of her friends were texting me and she saw this video as well and she sent it to me.
And then if we can scroll down at 8:48 a.m., she asked you if you're working. Were you scheduled to work that day?
I believe so. I remember calling off one of the days.
Right.
I don't remember which day.
And then you respond no at 8:48 a.m. Remember that?
Yes.
And then this next message, see if this refreshes your memory. Does she, we can scroll down, does she ask you to pull your car in the garage?
Yes.
What was that about? Do you know why she's asking you to pull your car in the garage?
No. In the next message, she just said there was like a lot of people coming. So
Did you take that to think that no, she didn't want anybody to see your car out in the driveway perhaps?
that or like so there was space in the driveway for people to park.
Okay. But where was your car parked when you had to pull it into the garage? Do you remember?
I would normally park on like the side of the street or in the driveway sometimes.
Did you pull your car into the garage when she asked you to do that?
I think so, yes.
And do you remember backing in or did you drive forward in?
I don't remember.
It's on video. Would the video reflect that?
Yes.
All right. And did you text your mom saying that your car is filled in? If we can scroll down to January 28th at 8:54 a.m.
Yes.
You see that?
Yes.
And then she responds, Albert said to tell Lena to work on her clothes. Did you know what that was about?
I think it was just like cleaning up her room.
We can scroll down. We can keep going, please. And so your mom tells you exactly what you just said. Clean the room before everyone gets there, right?
Yes.
What was your understanding of who was coming to the house?
I know Albert was coming home. There was different like army people that were coming. I know some like family flew in, so
People were coming out to look for Gannon, right?
yes.
Do you remember when your mom and Albert came back from the airport?
Yes.
Were they driving the black Tiguan? Do
I don't remember what car they were driving.
you remember your mom renting a car?
Yes.
Remember what color the car was?
No.
Remember what brand the car was?
No.
Did you think that was unusual that your mom left in the black Tiguan and came back in a rental car?
I was told that they were going to be driving, searching for him. So she didn't want to put miles on her car. And Albert's truck like takes a lot of gas.
Who told you that?
My mom.
So did you ask her about it or did she just volunteer that to you?
I don't remember.
Okay. Were people from the media trying to contact you on January 28th in the morning hours?
I don't know if they contacted me. I did remember like news reporters coming.
Do you remember telling your mother that the news reporters are particular KKTV is contacting us.
Mhm.
Do you remember telling your mom that on the morning of January 28th?
Yes, I think like she is my Facebook, so I think that's how they message me on Facebook.
During this time frame, are you also having FaceTime conversations and phone conversations with your mom as well as text messaging?
I don't know. I don't think so.
If you were, would that be reflected in the cell phone records?
Yes.
You talked about soldiers or Albert's coworkers coming in to help look for Gannon. Do you remember
Yes.
that? Did they actually come by in a silver SUV?
Yes, I remember people from his unit came.
And did you talk to them? Did you let them in the house? What happened with that?
Yeah, I think I talked to them.
Were you also texting other friends and people that you knew in the neighborhood about whether or not they'd seen Gannon during this time frame?
Yes.
Let's kind of jump to the afternoon of the 28th. Do you know whether or not Albert and your mom were actually talking to detectives with the sheriff's office during this time frame?
Yes, that's what I was told.
Who told you that?
I don't remember. I just remember it being mentioned.
Do you remember a time in that afternoon where your mom kind of disappeared and you didn't know where she was at, that type of thing?
Yes.
Tell the jury about that. What was going on and what vehicle was she driving? You remember?
I remember Albert was home and he kept calling her. And that's when the news reporter came in and filmed a video in her house. And something about they were asking her for like a hairbrush or toothbrush. That's why she couldn't answer or something. I don't know.
If we can scroll down, I know we're going to be jumping a lot, but down to 4:26 p.m. on January 28th. Are you there, Ms. Hunt, in the notebook, or we can look at the screen if you're not?
Yes.
So at 4:26 p.m. on the 28th, you're texting her, "Where did you go?" You remember that?
Yes.
How did she respond? If we can scroll down. Do you see that where it says, "I will text you in 10 minutes"?
Yes.
Do you know where she was at when she's texting you at this time?
No.
Do you know if she's in the rental car or what vehicle she's in as she's gone during this time frame?
I do not know.
And then you respond with looks like a question mark. Or you said, "Huh, I'm sorry."
Yes.
What did you mean by that?
Because I was confused when she said, I'll text you in 10 minutes.
And then if we scroll down, you ask, "Where's Lena?"
Yes.
Did you know where Lena was at?
Yes. I said, never mind, she's here.
Okay. And she responds, if we keep scrolling, she was on her bed at 4:29 p.m.
Yes.
And if we scroll down more, she says, "Don't open for anyone."
Yes.
What's going on here? Why is she telling you not to open the door for anyone? Do you know?
I do not know. I just feel like there was like a bunch of like stories or like reasons why. It's never like clear why I couldn't open the door.
At this point in
Boom.
time, on January 28th at 4:30 p.m., had you heard of different versions of events of what happened to Gannon at this point?
Yes.
What version of events did you hear? Let me ask you, did you hear this from your mother?
Yes.
What did she tell you happened to Gannon at this time?
I had heard first that he was at a friend's house, and then he was missing, and then that he must have been with his friend's older brother. And then that's when she kept saying to me, like, after all that, she was just like, they're trying to frame me, and people are thinking it's me.
Who is she referring to? Did she tell you when they say they are trying to frame you?
People in the groups. Remember her mentioning like the detectives were being weird, asking weird questions to her.
At this point in time, did you ever say, Mom, they just want to find Gannon. We're trying to find Gannon.
Right?
Did you ever say that to her?
Yes.
How did she respond to that?
She's being really good. It can't be easy, but she's doing really good.
I remember.
What a position to put your kid in.
Did you have problems with confronting your mom on some of this information?
Yes.
Like why you have a rental car, where's your car, that kind of thing?
Yes.
Can you imagine how she
Does
was
this
as a
go
mother?
along with what your mom's telling you?
Yes.
You can go ahead and scroll down some more, please.
Brutal.
You say at 4:30, if we can go down one more, where are you going? And she responds, I said I would text you in the next in 10 minutes.
Yes.
Would your mom
Well,
usually
then.
tell you where she's at, what she's doing under normal circumstances?
Yes. We had Life 360, so I could always look on there too.
Did you do that?
It wasn't on
How do you know it wasn't on?
because it'll say like nothing found, or it'll tell you.
So while you're asking where you're going and things like that, you're looking at her Life 360 app to see where she's at?
Yes.
And she turned it
For
off.
whatever reason?
Yes.
Had that ever happened?
No.
You always been able to find your mom and vice versa. She find you, I take it.
Yes.
Based on this Life 360.
Yes.
Okay, we can go ahead and scroll down some more, please. Now you have the question mark symbol at 4:31 p.m. And she responds, something isn't right. I think they are hiding something.
Yes.
What was that all about? Do you know what she's talking about here?
Makes me very, very
she said that
angry.
they were asking for like toothbrushes and like hairbrushes and stuff. So why would they need like DNA?
And you know that because lower in the text message, that's what she says, right?
Yes.
And did you help Albert get the toothbrush and things like that for the police?
I don't remember.
If we can go ahead and scroll down to January 28th at 4:33 p.m.
At least she's got her back to her. She can't be giving her the eyes.
You say, what do you think they're hiding? And did she respond to that text?
No.
And then
Can you imagine what
scroll down, you have another question mark.
she's going to be
Yes.
treated like?
And then at 4:50 p.m., you tell her, Albert said you need to go where he is at.
There's also, yeah, there's
Remember
one
that?
younger daughter.
What was that all about? Do you remember?
I'm pretty sure they were both at like the police station.
Do you know whether your mom was at the police station?
I don't know for sure, but she said that she was.
Do you know that Albert was at the police station?
Yes.
When did she tell you she was at the police station?
I think when she got home.
And this was again on January 28th, 2020.
Yes.
And if we scroll down, you say it's been 10 minutes. What is that in reference to?
Because she said that she would text me in 10 minutes.
And her response is, can you
Hum.
scroll down? Huh?
Yes.
Okay, H-U-H. And below that, if we scroll down, you say IDK, is that for what?
I don't know.
EFT me and said you need to go there.
FT is FaceTime.
Okay. So did you have a conversation with Albert then at this time period?
Yes.
Was it clear to you that Albert was at the police station and your mom wasn't?
Yes.
Was it clear to you that they wanted your mom to go to the police station?
Yes.
And then if we scroll down, you do another question mark here.
You guys can probably hear
5
me
p.m.
slurping. Sorry.
Remember that?
Yes.
At 5:04 p.m., if we scroll down, your mother says, okay, I called them.
Oh,
Yes.
And then she goes on to say, I'm talking to him to go. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Do you know whether or not your mom actually talked to him or ever went to the police station on January 28, 2020?
I do not know.
If we can scroll down to January 28th at 5:22:53. You see that where your mom says Albert?
Yes.
You say to go where? What are you referring to there?
Because in the previous message, she said, I'm talking to him to go. And it
if
was
we s-
never clear what she meant.
Okay. And then if we scroll down, your mother says, they said I have to go back to the place. Do you know what she's talking about there?
No.
Do you know where your mother's at 5:24 p.m. on January 28th, 2020?
No.
And if we continue to scroll down, your mother says they are treating us crappy. Remember that?
oh, oh
Yes.
my God.
And
You poor
If we
thing.
goes to the left, say, not sure what that means. It says emphasized. in
Oh,
quotes, they are treating us
MFG.
crappy. Is that something you're typing out or what did you do?
No, it's like you can hold down the message and choose like a symbol.
So it's like a thumbs up thing.
Yeah.
Heart.
Yeah.
Those are the only ones I know. So you respond to her message somehow emphasizing they are treating us crappy.
Yes.
Were you being treated crappy?
No.
Were you under the impression at this time that your mom was being treated unfairly by the police?
Yes.
Is that what your mom wanted you to think?
Yes.
Yes. Good girl. Strong little thing. Good for her.
We can scroll down to January 28th at 5:27. Your mom's asking you, who is there with you? Do you remember that?
Yes.
And at this time, it's just you and Lena in the house. Is that how you respond?
Yes.
Lena. Yeah. That's the youngest.
And if we scroll down, keep going, please. There we go. Back up. I'm sorry. She says, who was at the ring? And then she says earlier. Do you know what that message was about?
No. And I said nobody was at the ring.
Did your mom have access to your doorbell camera on her phone?
Yes.
So you say nobody's at the ring. And then if we go down to January 28th at 5:28 p.m., your mom is now saying, what did Albert say to you?
Yes.
You know what that's in context of?
I guess when he called me.
Is it the FaceTime that we saw earlier that you talked about?
Yes.
And did you tell her what Albert had said to you?
Yes.
Can we scroll down, please? To tell you to come there, right?
Yes.
And then your mom responds, I told him this is nonsense to come there again.
Yes.
And now you're texting her at 5:45 p.m. that someone is here with pizza. Remember that?
Yes.
Why are you texting her about that?
Because she told me not to open the door.
And then she responds, it's pizza. And you say, do I open?
Yes.
Why did you have to ask your mom for permission to open the door to get some pizza?
Because she had told me originally to, and she would have watched the camera. I don't want to be in trouble.
Fair enough.
Consequences for you if you didn't follow what your mom's telling you to do?
Yes.
She attacks kids. I wonder what she was like with hers.
You gotta let me know when I can go right up to noon or.
So it's up to you. I was going to ask you to find a breaking point in the next 5 minutes or so.
Why don't we scroll down to January 28th at 6:12 p.m. and 55 seconds. Right there. Your mom says, what's going on there? You remember that?
Yes.
And if we scroll down, you say Albert's came and left. Wells back now.
Yes.
So what was going on with Albert? Was he coming and going from the house during this time frame?
Yeah. Just like the police station or wherever he needed to go.
At this point, is your car still in the garage? You know.
Yes.
And is Albert driving his red Nissan truck?
Yes.
And your mom, you don't know if she's driving a rental or what vehicle she's driving?
Correct.
And you don't know where your mom's at still?
Correct.
Did you ever ask her, why don't you just tell me where you're at, Mom? I'm worried about you.
No. From her messages, I just assumed that she was at the police station.
Hmm.
And then if we scroll down, she asks you again. We can scroll down one more. She says, what's Albert? And then she says doing in the correction down below. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And then she tells you at 6:24 p.m. on January 28th, they are asking me dumb questions. You remember that?
Yes.
Now, do you know where she's at when she sends this?
So out of line to
Actually,
drag
the
her
police
kid into
station.
this?
And did you think she's there based on what she's telling you?
Psychotic
Yes.
little biatch, in my opinion. Oh,
And then
my
you
word.
respond, talking to the
Oh,
news
my
because
word.
they're here. Is that when the film crew showed up that you talked about earlier?
Yes.
And were they in the front yard or where were they?
No, they came in the house.
How'd they get in the house?
I think Albert let them in.
Oh, so Albert was there at this point.
Yes.
Okay. And was he being interviewed by them or do you remember?
Yes.
Then at 6:31 p.m., your mom asked, is he still with the news? Do you remember that?
Yes.
You say they're about to leave. Is that right?
Yes.
Does anybody else know in the house that you're talking to your mom via text while all this is going on?
I think so, yeah.
Did Albert know you were in communication with your mom?
I don't know.
And is that why he's asking you to tell your mom to come down to the police station, that kind of thing?
Yes.
You know, this is a good time probably to stop for lunch if you like.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will take our noon recess. If I can have everyone back in the jury or back in the jury room a little bit before 1:30, we should be able to start right on time at that point. Again, don't discuss the case among yourselves. Don't discuss the case with anyone else. With that, all rise for the jury, please.
So right now, it doesn't really matter if my brain feels like it's going to jump out of my skull. I am so watching this afternoon. So we'll just watch. I'll wait to see if these guys talk about anything. I don't know if Leticia stopped watching Harley intentionally, but she seemed to have turned her back. I don't know. What do you think she was like with her
The record
kids?
should reflect the jury has left the courtroom. Ms. Hunt, you can step down. Watch your step as you step down. We will be in recess until 1:30. Is there anything else we need to take up? Prosecutor?
1:30.
No, you're-
Okay, all right. Court will be in recess then. Thank you.
All rise.
$1:30. So I will make the stream for 1:20. Well, that was pretty damn interesting. What do you guys think? Wow. Well, yeah, not only Gannon, but mental torture on Harley. That is tough. And yeah, I think this jury has got to be seeing through her. Like, look at the crap she's been pulling. Oh my God. And I don't know if at the very beginning of the stream, she was doing that little fingers up to her face thing, but I couldn't get close enough to, like, I couldn't get it close enough to see if she was using that middle finger again. Surely, she's just like a prize. So guys, I'm going to jump off. I'm going to set up the next stream. And thanks for being here. I'll see you in a little while.